Hey, 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 welcome back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. Wow, my screen is a little cockeyed. Um, well, that's how it's going to be today, the energy. Sometimes that's how it goes, especially when we have a spiritual block, right? Spiritual blocks are psychological and emotional, and they represent shadow aspects of ourselves. And that's part of ourselves that we've detached from. So this channel is all about healing the effects of trauma. And trauma is not just physical trauma. We can talk about psychological trauma that happens when we get into a relationship and we experience abandonment, when we experience betrayal, wondering why we experience these experiences. Some people on the channel that comes to the channel might say, well, I know I'm a spiritual being and I'm evolving. And part of evolving means that I have to see different perceptions of situations. And sometimes when we grow up in families, we inherit trauma. So this channel is all about healing the effects of trauma. So when we see cockeyed energy, like what my screen looks like right now, we have to understand that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. We may not like that reason, but again, we don't get what we want, we get what we need. So if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. And this channel is all about inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting. And then if you are someone that suffers from trauma and want to heal the effects of trauma, I have two amazing subscriptions. I have shadow coaching, inner child healing, and reparenting that comes with breath work, meditation, EFT, and a bunch of other healing modalities that I keep adding to, because healing the effects of psychic trauma is not just because it happens in the mind, doesn't mean that we don't have to heal the body. See, your body is your mind's faithful servant, and it remembers that it holds the score. So everywhere where we have a chakra, we have an endocrine gland, and those chakras represent the psychological and the emotional aspects of ourselves. And those aspects of ourselves form behaviorisms because we've detached from that part of ourselves and it became a shadow, but we form behaviorisms and habits that block us from health, wealth, and all around emotional fulfillment. So, again, when we're in balance, it manifests as imbalances, not just within our outer world experiences, but within our physical body. That's why we have to recondition the body and mind so it works together again. Because detachment, dissociation disorder happens from trauma. So the first thing that we look at are the archetypes. What is your archetype? What do you need to look at? Now, no energy is fluid. So you may say, well, I'm here for Virgo, or I'm here for Gemini, or whatever the zodiac. Energy goes to who needs to get the message, the spiritual message. Everything happens in the physical realm because of something spiritual, which is mind, emotions, right? Mind and emotions transcends all time and space. Soulmates, that connection transcends all time and space. So it's again understanding the spiritual language. So obviously, I am going to share on this channel education because it helps you change your perception. Healing is about seeing a different perception when we have a block. So this channel isn't just going to say, what is my person going to come back? Because understand, if somebody is in your life where it's an imbalanced relationship, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, well, that means that there's an imbalance within inside of you too, not just that person. If you're remaining in that connection that is on, off, And so it's about digging deep into ourselves. So looking at the archetypes, looking at spiritual triggers, looking at wounds, looking at samskaras. Samskaras are again the spiritual wounds. And learning how to integrate the spiritual wound. Otherwise, you never see a different perception of yourself. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Right now, if you resonate with this message, like the video and definitely subscribe to the channel. That's good karma. Everything's karma. What you give out is what you get back. Even if it's unconscious. Unfortunately, we become aware, through what manifests. So a lot of what happens with karma is all about intention. So if a person's intention is to be negative and to be bad, we see the consequences a lot of times are worse, than someone that is just blindly, trying to figure out something and isn't aware. And then, so again, this is what it's all about. It's all about learning and evolving. So if there's anything of any relevance that you want to know about the channel, by the way, you can find it in the description box. And there's always directions on how to enter into winning a free reading with me. All you got to do again is like, subscribe, and write the magic word. And the magic word today is going to be, well, it's going to be words. How about that? Cycle of life. Cycle of life. Okay. Whenever I think of that, I think of the Lion King, right? When the guy's holding up the baby lions, the circle of life. And that's a lot of times cycle of life from a spiritual perception is, again, that we're born into families, so that we get karmic lessons, and then we experience a karmic theme that is in relevance to that lesson. A lot of times we fail the lesson. That's why you associate karma with bad, but really karma is just awareness. So we're looking at the energy, as I was saying earlier, at you. However, if you're here for your person, and you resonate with it, but you're not resonating it from your perception, well, you are meant to still hear the message, even if it relayed to someone else's perception that's connected to you. A lot of times, because again, it's about healing, so you can see a different perception, so you can do something different, so you react different, so you get a different outcome. A lot of times that's what healing is. So look at what the spirit wants you to know about whether it's going to be yourself or your person. We'll know by how you resonate. And for me to keep this story straight, I'll have to choose, again, intuitively, who I can say a person, because really, if you're connected to a person and you're here because you want to know about a person, you're really tapped into them. You might always be getting their perception because you're not even physically there. You're so connected to that person, believe it or not. Just say, I know that it's weird how energy works. Sometimes you can get someone else's reading completely. It's just you're connected. That's what a psychic cord is. Psychic cord is energetic. It's emotion and thought. And that emotion could be, I'm really pissed off. I really don't like you. So, even a person that you're like, why am I picking up on this energy? Okay, bully. See, that's what I'm talking about. And it came out reversed. So this conceals deep fear behind verbal or physical abuse. So you're dealing with, or again, could be connected to or grown up in an environment with someone that's a bully. And why is that important when we're looking at shadows? A lot of times our shadows are created again from our environment. Epigenetics proves this. Says that it's your environment that creates your reality, because you form habits and behaviorisms that are based on your environment. So if you grew up with a bully or were around a bully, again, you would form behaviorisms and habits that a lot of times would block you from having good relationships, from having a little bit of a problem of connecting to other relationships. Because again, the survival part of your mind, the survival part of your mind is the subconscious part of your mind. It's the same part of your mind that keeps your heart pumping, blood circulating, right? It's again, you're not conscious. Really only the tip of the iceberg of your mind is what is conscious. So it's a subconscious. Could be like, well, I'm nervous. I'm going to be with somebody that is a narcissist. A lot of times, because a bully, how would a bully play out when we're older? It's not going to be that kid on the playground anymore. It's going to be someone that gets real close to us, someone that we have a relationship with, someone that we care about. So now we're holding on to a cognitive dissonance, which is I want this person, but I don't, especially if we perceive that they have a certain energy, or this person could feel that way about you, which is this the person that's not confident in themselves would be like that. Have one foot in, one foot out, I'm feeling like. So a bully doesn't necessarily even mean like someone that's mean in that way. They can be emotionally manipulative. So we'll have to see. And that would definitely, if you're tuned into someone like that or care about someone that is like that, we could see why their energy would be all over you. Okay. So, and then the next is, and I feel like I never pull reverse cards, but today that's what it is. So, and the thing is, I keep trying to read the card reversed, and you can't. You need to read it upright, but it came out reversed. So it's like, okay, exaggerated belief that you are the only means that which a cause can succeed. So I feel like, again, this is Messiah. So I feel like someone like also cares about the perception of how other people perceive them. Now, again, because even though, why do we want to exaggerate a belief that we are the only means to success? If we don't want to let people in, if we have trust issues, right? Well, then what we would do is, so if you're connected to a person that tends to, again, give you a lot of wishy-washy energy, it's again, the issue is all about them. And a large part of it is, yes, it's their ego. Now, the ego part itself is the mask that we wear, right? Again, everybody has a mask in certain areas of their life that we're not proud of, especially if we have financial problems, if we have problems in relationships, if we come from, we don't want everyone to see that. So we wear a mask, and the mask is what we want to portray to the universe. So again, a person that isn't letting you come close, they have a big ego. So they might say again, I don't want to put the pressure onto you. I don't want to, I don't want to. They'll position it like they're doing you the favor. So it's again when they're really not. It's about their ego is really what I'm feeling. Okay, and addict. See, I don't like this person again, because the addict part of self, again, this is it came out and you saw it fell out, and so it was compromised integrity and honesty. Allows addictive patterns to have authority over inner spirit. So an addictive pattern doesn't always mean drugs. It means, again, I could be addicted to, people looking at me a certain way. But a lot of times, in order to keep the charade and wear the mask and stay in a detached place, because they can't let anyone get close, so they feel like they're defective, which is what I'm feeling, they drink. I feel like someone's dealing with someone that's a drinker, someone that does or smokes a little bit too much. And the reason why is because, again, they're detached. They're mainly detached due to this big ego of trying to portray that they're someone that they're not. And so people do this because they don't feel good about themselves. And when a person doesn't feel good about themselves, they overcompensate or undercompensate. It's a second chakra imbalance. Second chakra is, again, that center all about the individual, how the person perceives themselves. So they're not going to be able to go with the flow of life. They're going to want to control because they're coming from a place of fear. And it's because they don't really feel good about themselves. So they're going to project a lot. And they're going to make up stories in their own mind to keep themselves elevated. Again, the ego, the mask. And really, but to keep the charade up, because everybody has a spirit part of self, which is God part of self, which is what we connect to each other, and is known as love and empathy and feeling. So when we're out of alignment with this true self, the God part of self, we form again these behaviorisms that block us from health, wealth, and all around emotional fulfillment. So again, person feels like there's something wrong because they're creating, they don't like who they are. So it's a core belief that they have about themselves. And so again, this is why they have this messiah complex, which again, big ego. But it doesn't mean that they don't love or can't have a connection or can't have a soulmate. Again, remember, the universe, which is God, brings people into your life to show you a different perception of how life could be lived or how you're living. So a lot of times when we can't walk away from a soul relationship, because I feel like this person would love to walk away from you, but can't. They can't. And they can't because again, that's you can't destroy love. It's again unconditional love. It doesn't mean this person can't keep getting in their own way. We see that again because they don't like who they are. But that's their block. That's their wound. So the real key needs to be like, why do you attract a person like that into your life? And or if this is a pattern for you, or why is this person in your life? This is really like the big question. Otherwise, they say, what the hell for? This person learned from me, but what did I get? Because the universe, it's all about equal energy. It can't be a one-sided deal. Somebody's got to learn something. People have to evolve, and they evolve into the higher state of consciousness, which is unconditional love, by learning to look at their shadows and deal with those shadows differently. And they wouldn't do that. No one would do that. Healing doesn't feel good because, again, it makes us live and differently, and we're all kind of creatures of habit, even if it's uncomfortable. So rebel. So it's again challenge authority, and this is an upright. So again, how does a person do that? Well, it may seem like rebellious, and it could be again that other people would perceive this person as rebellious, but by being their true self. And so again, when we have a second chakra imbalance, a lot of times it's because we weren't allowed to create ourselves. So I'm feeling like someone grew up in an environment that was just very structured and rigid and it doesn't matter the reason. It could be anything from, my parents put me in military school. My parents were very religious. My parents just taught me, again, there was a certain etiquette that I had to live by. It was a cultural thing. There's many different reasons that create perceptions. And those perceptions are not wrong. They're a perception, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's supposed to be in our life all the time. So if a person goes against who they're allowed to be, they're perceived as a rebel. But do I really feel that this person is a rebel? No, I think that they perceive you a rebel because they think that you're different. And that's refreshing. Remember, a soulmate has to come into someone's life to teach them a different view, to teach them something. And so a lot of times we identify with, well, you showed me that I'm an asshole because I let you into my life and you hurt me. That's not really the lesson that we're really supposed to learn all the time. If we honor ourselves, that person can't do that. If we're living from our true self, right? So we have to say, I was connected to someone that I gave 100%, but they didn't give 100% to me. Because they didn't give 100% to me, they again might be wanting you to see that they're a rebel. Again, like, look, I'm so macho. I don't really care. I never really cared. But the truth of the matter is, it's like, no. This person like doesn't want you to really see who they are. They've elevated themselves. Again, they have a big ego. They have addictive behavior. The addictive behavior is I don't like myself. I detach from myself. And and so what I do in order to stay in a relationship is I have to elevate myself. And this isn't drawing a nice picture, but we have to see addictive behavior. This is bad character a lot of times. And it's because it's not just the person is drinking and smoking too much and doing whatever. That's everyone has a right to do what they want to do, but they're doing it so that they numb themselves so they don't have to feel what they do, and so that they don't have to stay conscious about what they do, which is they're like I'm completely fine. That's when it's a problem. And so again, the bully usually dates a lot of people, talks to a lot of people, if not talks to, at least if they're not dating, and then they're like emotionally manipulating, and in order to for the person that they're with to continually give them more, so they always elevate themselves. They always date a person that's, doesn't really feel good about themselves. And they might, again, look like, hey, you look like a good package. You're attractive, you got a good job, you got this, you got that. It doesn't matter. Psychological wounds or emotional wounds happen in inner child work a lot of times. And I can't wait till my inner child cards come, but we're going to look at the samskara to see what the wound is. Later on, I'll be able to tell you like what again transpired, and then you might say, why the hell do I want to know that? Well, how to deal with, because a lot of times what we resist persists. We get a person like this to continue to come into our life, the same type of energy come into our life, because again we're getting the person as a lesson. We're being taught something. So not all lessons bring you to like rose fields. Some some bring you to like the fucking garbage dump. And you might say, well, why? And because you're learning the like that all different levels of consciousness. You can have a higher state of consciousness, come to a place of unconditional love if you see a person really like that has poor character, that doesn't like themselves, and instead of saying you like tricked me, you hurt me, like again, like you did this. It's again, we take it very personally. And it's like, I gave so much. I'm so stupid then. And then it's all these things. Now, how am I going to trust again? And how am I going to, we're really, if we know the spiritual lesson, we can say, I can trust again because I learned. Now it's like, I don't need to look for it. I need to be balanced in my life, but I'll see it, that you showed me a different perception. So that's why we want to know, because in scripture it says what we resist persists, meaning, oh, did you not learn that karmic lesson? Well, here we're getting it again. It just looks like this with these different people. But it's the same theme that keeps you stuck in a core belief. And that's why integration is so important, because again, inner child work, what it was that we didn't get is how you heal. It's not about seeing that someone else is going to come into your life and heal you, but you have the tools to heal you, and then you attract exactly what you want. You're able to create the life that you want because you remove the block. And that's because you saw a different perception. You evolve into a higher state of consciousness. Hostility, aggression, and violence. Hostility. Well, I take this as like frustration, right? And we get frustration a lot of times. That could be, again, a trained behavior where you may say, this is why I'm attracting this person, because I'm hostile. And I'm so hostile because isn't that a, contradiction? Well, you attract the energy that you are. So it could be, I'm nervous, or I'm just over attracting the same type of people. And I don't really know why I do, but there's an energy that I can never relax is really the energy. And that happens Or this person again could be like acting again, like this is again stressed out, pressure, burnout. So we wouldn't get a place of again imbalance and be hostile unless again we were in an environment with someone that we didn't trust, or again trying to be in a relationship with someone where it's not working, is really um the energy there. But this was more about being in a connection with someone that doesn't let you in. Okay, so then now we'll say, well, what is your energy? I want to see what your energy is, because then I could see again what the triggers were. Because the triggers are the emotional gateway to understanding what the shadow is. We wouldn't know what the shadow is unless we had awareness. But I'm telling you, this like this imbalance again, this disequilibrium is like really imbalanced. It's almost like your adrenals are in fight, flight, or freeze. And so you might be like saying that this person reminds me of when I grew up in a certain environment, right? As someone that, again, maybe you grew up in an alcoholic family. Maybe you grew up with somebody that was really imbalanced, that was stressed out all the time. And so it created that same emotional and physical response within inside you. See, karmic lessons are ones that bring us back to the original wound. We just, again, have behaviorisms and habits to deal with it, but it doesn't mean that it won't make us sick. If anything, this energy makes us sick. So again, like prudence. And prudence is all about your character, again, being high, worrying about your future, creating a future. So there's a sense too that I'm feeling like your energy when you're connected to this person is like, I feel imbalanced, I feel stressed out, I can't really trust them. I worry about the future. I worry about because of how this person is. So, and I'm also feeling like you've known this person for a while, and that maybe people in your community or people like mutual people know both of you. And so again, unfortunately, when you're with someone, right, you inherit their karma. So you can have the highest vibration. You can be the best type of person that there is, but still attract that same type of energy. And not because you're not like of a high vibration, it's because you're coming from a place of fear. Yeah, and it could be again inheriting the wounds that you again grew up in, the childhood wounds that you never really fully integrated. And so we have to say again that there's awareness that I'm feeling like you're like, I can never really be with this person because of the way everything, how they are, they wear the mask, they don't really want to heal. A person that drinks for avoidance is they're doing that because they're avoiding looking at the wounds and healing them and changing. The inevitable is that people can look at them, but it's going to require change. So it's not really even worth to see trigger. But if we're curious, like what were the triggers? Just because this energy is what it is, it's like again forgotten. See, again, this person that could never let you get close to them. So again, growing up in that environment, you would again with someone that drank, someone that was hostile, someone that didn't let you get close to them. I understand if you're not allowed to express yourself because a person gets hostile, it would be I feel forgotten about, like my opinion doesn't matter, like people don't care, which is that wound of I feel abandoned. Forgotten is abandoned. It's just a different, just because the person's around you, if they're not thinking about your feelings or again, thinking about what your needs are, which I feel like actually happened long before you met this person. Well, again, then the energy would be, well, I'm attracting the same type of environment. Again, maybe your mother didn't drink, but and father didn't drink. Maybe they just were like not there. They had their own issues, so they couldn't be there. But nevertheless, there was a sense of always fear. And again, that if I say what I need, there's going to be hostile energy that I can't really express myself. And this relationship creates a lot of uneasiness because they don't make me feel safe. And they don't make me feel safe because I can't really be me. So it's almost like, and then on top of it, because it can't be me, I'm not really getting my needs met. I feel forgotten, like they're making me forget me when really you're forgetting you because you know what your needs are and it's not up to you. It's not up to anyone to give you what you need. It's up to you to just take what you need. And it's not selfish when it's emotional stuff. It means if a person's making you feel forgotten, we're not going to sit here and entertain them more and sit and hope and change. Where again, for a while, like what this person gets people to do is change and abandon themselves, which is why they feel forgotten. It's because at the end of the day, then we lose everything. It's abandonment of self. Okay, accountable. And then like instead of them, they never took like were accountable. So again, someone that doesn't want to even admit what they're wrong, it's again trying to make a square peg into a circle hole. And we all know people that have done that. We all know people that, and you might say, I barely gave them anything. Listen, if a person's coming in and out of your life and they don't talk to you every day or they don't talk to you even once a week, they come into your life like once every 3 weeks, once every like week, or like again bi weekly, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. But every single time you sit there and you talk to them for an hour, 2 hours, they know that you were waiting for them. It doesn't matter that you weren't doing it all the time. It's like they see, people see, I breadcrumb you. I give you very little. I'm not really around. So what? I talked to you Thursday night for 2 hours, and now I'll come back in 3 weeks or come back in 4 weeks. You never really know who you're dealing with. And this person is, again, only caring about themselves. But it's not because they didn't care about you, it's because they don't like themselves. They had to keep up the charade. But it brings out your wounds, which again, it was, like I never get what I need. Let's look at more wounds just because I like to do that. And then we'll look at what is the healing advice. Okay, dutiful. Yeah, see, that's giving too much to others. So you could be like one of those people was like an unhealed healer, right? Like someone that is like I get into a relationship and I let my heart lead and I try and do for people, again, do for the person that I'm with the way I want to be treated. So I'm very in tune to what they need. So it again recreates that environment from childhood. Like if I keep giving, when I gave, I got love. So when I was dutiful, I got love. So it's again, it recreates this environment because this person doesn't give, but you can feel the connection, but they're not really letting you in. They're breadcrumbing because they don't really want you to leave because they really do have feelings. However, they have such a big ego and they again don't like who they are. They need healing. They're like, I don't really want you to like see everything. So if you say something to me, I'm not going to be accountable. I'm going to twist it back to you. And I'm not really going to like care about your feelings. I'm going to care more about mine because again, I'm coming more from a survival perspective. And so you'll be like, I feel the connection, so I'm going to give you more, being dutiful, which again, unhealed healers do that. Empaths, highly sensitive people, tend to do that, especially if they have wounds that they didn't heal. Then they really do it. And so, and that's when a lot of times they wind up being in trauma bond relationships and narcissist and empath relationships where they're in like giving and the other person, but why? Because this person doesn't like who they are. It has nothing to do with, and you might say, well, I don't really like, you didn't get the love that you needed. You recreated the same environment, again, by going to the well that didn't have water and still, and trying to be dutiful, like, and perfect. Again, if because there's a lack of feeling, I don't feel good about myself, so I got to feel like I got to be perfect. So I'm going to be real dutiful and fix everything and do everything and maybe cook, clean, look good, try and be that perfect person because I feel like a lack when really you don't need to do that. You are perfect. So again, we have to understand what we do. We have to see, why did I participate in this shit? What kept me connected to this one side? Why didn't I see the other perception? Why do I date people that I think I'm hot and crazy for? And then like a year later, I look back and I say, who the hell was that person? It's like, because it was a perception. It was what you needed at that time. And so it's, again, when we aren't balanced, we'll give too much. And that's what this said. It's like it recreated that imbalance that, again, you had from childhood. Because this person is just that way. Know that any person that's addicted is just walking around with this type of energy. So like goes to like, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So you say, how the hell, I didn't ask for this. Though on an energetic level, you kind of did. Influenced, being given bad advice, follow the crowd. Yeah, like this person, again, I believe can't make a decision for themselves as well, because when a person doesn't feel good about themselves, so they wanted you to come into their life. They wanted you to do all the work because, again, that's what they feel comfortable with. And so, again, because they're not considering anything. So may say, how can you fix this energy? Well, understand if it's a real soulmate twin flame relationship where you'd be like, this person's soulmate, well, it's all about learning from a spiritual perspective and the most that we need to learn. So can this person evolve? Not without a major tower moment, because they need to, like, again, that ego needs to come down. But the only thing that would be able to make the ego come down is unconditional love, meaning that's person, like, we think we can control ourselves when it's really that type of relationship, but we can't. So by making a person be accountable, be like holding that person to it, it's like, because understand, can they, yeah, this person doesn't like who they are. If they were taught a different perception of who they are, and if they healed themselves, then anything's possible. But the first step really is soulmate, or again, soulmate could even be just not even a lover, could just be a person that comes in to the life to show them a different perception. I just believe that, again, the way that you think and the way your approach and their approach are two different ways, which made this person be attached, but they still wanted to treat you the way that they know how to treat everybody else. It was less about you and more about the way that this person knows how to navigate their life. You just, again, needed to be, again, taught to love yourself and know that, again, no one can really make you feel forgotten. It's that you make yourself feel forgotten, and you're giving too much energy to something that yeah, you felt a connection and they were good, but there's a passion in the beginning. Relationships is something that happen over time. When people have intimacy issues, they're not going to be able to give consistently, but they're also not going to be able to walk away, which is the energy that I felt here. And every time you said something, they would get hostile. And then it's like, and then never be accountable. So it's like pretty much saying, I'm not going to change, and I'm not going to change because I have a big ego, because I don't really want to let you close, because if you come in, you're going to see everything, and then you're going to leave me. So it's, again, a way of manipulating, but it doesn't mean that they didn't have feelings. Nevertheless, what's the advice? Courage. So I would say the courage to, again, look at the situation and really do what you know what you need to do, which is not give this person anything. You could be a friend to this person, but create your own life. Don't expect this person to be accountable, because they need to show that they're going to be accountable for themselves first. They need a major tower moment in their life. And it does take courage to walk away. And this person really needs the courage to do that, to let the ego come down, to be like, this is what it is. This is the whole ugly thing of who I am. Either you like me or you don't. And I'm sorry, I'm not perfect. And you know what? They would be shocked to shit, because you would probably be like, you know what? I can work with that. I can't work with whatever this shit that you were handing me before, but I can work with this. And that's, again, what unconditional love is. It's like, you know what? I really don't want to forgive you, but here now you're coming to me and you're showing me a different side. It's like, I can work. And it's like, well, we can actually, because there is unconditional love. It made this person change. So, but like I said, take the courage. The courage, I believe, is more to this person to let that wall, and that, like, this is who I am, to let you really see who they are. Because this person, if they don't, they're going to like miss out. Because if they don't do it with you, they're not going to do it with the next person. It's not like it gets easier. I mean, we keep getting the lessons. So they're going to eventually, hopefully, one day take a chance. But chances are, the older that we get, the more that we stay true in our ways. And that's, again, the second chakra in balance, which is what I said earlier. So you're not going with the flow of life. And it's because you're, again, being like, this person's going to ruin me, or I need to control you because I don't trust me. And it's, like I said, person needs to get courage to heal, and you need courage to walk away in the beginning, is what I feel, and flow, because it's all about going with the flow of life. I mean, you can feel when it's off. You can feel when it's off. We're intuitive, we know. And again, that second chakra allows us to be able to go with the flow of life. And that's only if we like ourselves. And a lot of us have formed shadows. Everybody has shadows, because everyone has wounds. I don't care where you're sitting. If you're sitting on the healer side or the other side, we all have wounds. We're all down here to learn and to manifest, and we learn through our wounds. But this person would learn unconditional love, because at the end of the day, it's like, I can be vulnerable and really show you who I am, and you're not going to abandon me, which is the whole reason why I was wearing a mask. I was afraid that you'd abandon me, because I don't like who I am. So I assume that you wouldn't like who I am. So I always have to have the upper hand. All right. What does the universe have to say, like, about the healing advice? We want to know healing advice, because we're just looking at the spiritual energies today. I mean, okay, goodness. I overcome my imperfections, polish my character, and feed on the positive. So again, everyone, it always starts in gratitude. This is what this is starting to say, like, that everyone has something good and positive in their life. People take for granted the small things. So I free myself, allow my goodness to manifest and become a source of joy. Through gentleness, I offer unconditional support, understanding, and love to myself and others. So again, this goes back to knowing that you're not here by mistake. You're here by God's design. You have purpose. Everyone has purpose. And that everyone has something good in their life, and to celebrate that and to be in the goodness. That's really where, again, both parties need to be. Because I believe, like I said, if there was a time that you did not get the love and support that you need, there could be a sense of, there's a sense like, I can't have the love that I want. I can't, because maybe I was seen as bad. Maybe I was seen as not good. Maybe there was, again, I was an inconvenience, but whatever the perception. And perceptions when you're a child, Again, because that's where a lot of these perceptions come from, the child self. It's not real, it's exaggerated because children are sensitive. We didn't know exactly what our parents were going through. We only saw part. And again, and you might say, well, I saw what they went through. Well, weren't them and you weren't living their reality. Everybody has a different reality, which is not wrong. This is what quantum physics is all about. There's many different realities that play out at one time, and you get to choose which reality you want to, by awareness, by being conscious. This person is coming from a place of I hate myself. And what the spirit is saying is I have to get to a place of goodness and realize that they're good. That again, there are good things in life. I have to get to a place of balance. I can't come from a place of I hate myself. And here and now, and that happens from being in the now. Only in the now do we get divine guidance through gut intuition, inner knowing. They come from the spirit part of self, not the ego part of self. This person's coming from the subconscious mind, the survival part of mind, right? Which is, oh, I'm fearful, which is what when we have a wound, we have a trigger, and the trigger is, oh God, I gotta do something, react. And a lot of times the reaction is I get in my own way. And let's see, like I didn't pull a trigger. Let's see what is the trigger? What was a trigger? Disturbed. I have suffered enough mental and emotional abuse. So again, person grew up. And a lot of times when we have father wounds and we're a guy, we can have mother wounds and we're a guy. It's like, or again, vice versa. Either one, it distorts our perceptions. It's just when we're a guy and we have father wounds, we may have a little bit too much of a female energy. And so what that means is like we all have male and female energies. So a male energy would be like very grounded, very present, very there's fire energy, they're doers, they create. They're considered the sun, they're considered the magician in tarot, right? Where a woman is very yin, it's very spiritual, very intuitive. It's considered the moon, it's considered the goddess energy, the high priestess energy of the tarot. So again, and that we're all supposed to have this type of energy inside of us, which is balanced. Nobody's energy is balanced. Not a fucking person's energy is balanced because we all grow up in certain environments that acquire us to obtain these certain behaviorisms. However, if you're with somebody that has a lot of this, again, female energy, and then you're female, and it's like you're going to clash, you're going to bonk heads because you're not the same person. Your perception on things, again, is different. It's supposed to be different. And so what happens is you have an imbalance where so this person I feel like was disturbed mainly because they grew up with a parent, again, that if it was a male, again, that had a dad that was abusive. It was a woman, grew up with a mom that was abusive. So again, and that's what gave them the imbalance. That's what made them, again, form the behaviorism of I don't like who I am. I need to not show my feelings. I need to not, and I'm always strategizing. So I'm never present, you see? I'm always 10 steps ahead because I don't really like who I am. So I have a hard time being in the here and now. And so you might say, well, being around you makes me have a hard time being in the here and now. And that's why Spirit says, and that's when you know that you have to detach. Because it doesn't mean that they don't have true feelings. Well, you guys know I said I was going to end it here. But now I'm curious. I'm like, well, what the fuck is the hidden truth? So it's like, well, what does this person really feel? I mean, it's all over the place. They're really imbalanced, I'm feeling. And when they're imbalanced, and to be honest, you could have intuitively, you could feel like they could love you today and not like you tomorrow and be all over the place in this way. Because when a person doesn't like who they are, they project a lot. And again, the ego isn't accurate. And a person looking at you through their wounds, again, people overcompensate. They see things from from their level of consciousness, but this person needs healing. We keep talking about it, but that doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. And there is an ego part of ourselves that's like, well, I don't give a shit. Do they like me? What are they going to do? Then I'll make my damn decision. Not a minute before. It's like, because I want to know. It's just, I want to know. And that's the human part of self. All right, we're going to pull 3 cards. Is it 3? Okay, Spirit said 2. All right, 2 cards. All right, first card. I wish I could share my good news with you. So I feel like this person is actually feeling like they had a friendship, and I feel like there's been some time that they actually think, well, you were real. I think that this person wears so many masks, they attract so many people that have masks that they don't really have friends. So they're actually looking, and that is, again, the opening of a heart, which is good because they're not just looking at you as passion. They're not just looking at you from a detached, there's actually emotion there. But you had to you had to walk away. You had to show them a different aspect of you. I regret lying to you. I feel like they regret, again, the lies, again, of who they are. Again, wearing the mask, not pretending that they didn't really like you. Because again, couldn't really let you in close. And now I realize that you actually were my friend, and I could actually talk to you, and you could have been in my life. And that's where the karma comes into place. You might say, that person, well, it's, again, they saw that it was a real thing. They're usually phony baloney. And so, again, they normally track phony baloney. And when they say, oh, well, this person wasn't, and they were actually real, and they were a good person, they really cared about me. And now, how the hell am I going to come back? How the hell am I going to come back? I look stupid. And Spirit says, you really do, but you got to surrender that ego of yours. It's like we've been trying to get you to take down that wall. One more. I know I said 2 and Spirit said 2, but I'm still curious. I love you. See, that's what I was looking for. Like, I was like, I want to see some feeling, but I feel like this person has a very hard time expressing feelings. And I feel like right now, again, there's more of a, wow, I miss this friendship. I miss the realness of it. I wish I would have treated you better. And that's what healing's about. So again, this person can heal, they can fix it, and it would start here with the recognition of, I miss you. You know, I wish I could share like what I'm doing in my life. I wish I could talk to you again. I regret the things of lying and how I treated you, because obviously if I was lying to you, I wasn't treating you right. And because I actually care, I realize I love you, and I don't really think that I ever really experienced that before, because again, ego tends to go with passion. And this is not really all about that. I'm not saying that they don't have that. Listen, person doesn't stick around long enough unless so I feel like that's just a given. However, when it goes deep, and that's a soul's relationship. So I'm going to leave that there. If you resonated with this, let me know. And remember, cycle of life is the word you're going to put in your comment bar if you want to enter into winning a free psychic soul reading with me. And I'll be on again soon. I can't wait till I get my other decks. They're coming, and I could go even deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And we can, again, discover a lot of, again, new types of healing. And if you're someone that is been affected by trauma, again, look into my subscriptions. It comes with a lot of different healing modalities, because again, healing is all about reconditioning the body and mind. And your body can do that. You are made in God's image. So your body and mind are self-healing organisms. Again, all depends on what you do. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.